My son said, "You're too old to join us, stay home." When they left without me, I decided to. The morning sunlight streamed through the kitchen blinds as Charles Miller, a 78-year-old widower, poured himself a cup of black coffee. The smell reminded him of the days when his late wife, Linda, would hum while making breakfast. Out in the driveway, his son, David, was loading up the SUV with coolers, folding chairs, and bags. Charles walked outside holding his coffee. "Big day today, huh?" Charles smiled. David didn't look up. "Yeah, Dad, we're heading to Lake Pine for a family picnic." "Sounds great. Let me grab my hat, I'll ride with you." David hesitated, then closed the trunk. "Dad, maybe it's better if you stay home this time. It's a 2-hour drive, lots of walking on uneven trails. I don't think it's a good idea for you." Charles's smile faded. "I can still walk, David." "I know," David said, avoiding his father's eyes. "But it'll be easier for everyone if you just relax here. We'll bring you back some food." It was a polite rejection, but it felt like a slap. Charles stood in the driveway as his son, daughter-in-law, and grandkids drove away, laughter spilling out of the car windows. The sound grew faint, replaced by the quiet hum of suburban life, a neighbor mowing his lawn, a dog barking in the distance. He sat in his recliner, coffee untouched. His mind drifted back to years of raising. David alone after Linda's passing, working double shifts as a postal worker, saving every dime for David's college. Now he was too old to be part of their fun. Charles stared at the TV remote, then at the framed photo of him and Linda on a hiking trail years ago. Something inside him snapped. If they think I'm done living, they're wrong. He went to his bedroom, opened the bottom drawer, and pulled out a small envelope of cash he'd been saving for emergencies. He swapped his house slippers for his worn hiking boots, grabbed his old baseball cap, and locked the door behind him. Instead of sulking, Charles drove his old Ford pickup toward the place he'd always dreamed of visiting. Blue Ridge National Park. The highway rolled out in front of him, lined with tall oaks and pines. The wind rushing through the open window carried the scent of early spring. When he arrived, the air was crisp, the sky a deep, cloudless blue. He could hear a river somewhere nearby. Following the sound, he found a quiet bend in the water, surrounded by wildflowers. He sat on a smooth rock, feeling more alive than he had in years. "Beautiful spot, isn't it?" a voice called out. Charles turned to see a man about his age holding a fishing rod. He wore a faded baseball cap and a grin. "Name's Hank," the man said, extending a hand. "You here alone?" "Yeah," Charles replied. "Family thought I'd be better off at home. Guess I had other plans." Hank chuckled. "Same here. My kids think I'm fragile. I tell them, there's a big difference between being old and being done." The two men spent hours talking. Hank taught Charles how to cast a line, and before long, Charles had caught his first fish in decades. The moment the fish tugged, he felt that boyish rush of excitement again. Around noon, they ate sandwiches from their backpacks, washing them down with bottled water. A bald eagle soared overhead and the river sparkled in the sunlight. "Tell you what," Hank said, "a bunch of us retired folks meet here every Saturday. We hike, fish, and swap stories. You should join us." Charles grinned. "Sounds like my kind of crowd." When he got home that evening, David's SUV was already in the driveway. Inside, the family was unpacking leftovers from their picnic. "Dad," David said, "where were you?" "We were worried." Charles set his car keys on the counter, went to Blue Ridge, caught a fish, made a new friend. His daughter-in-law looked surprised. "By yourself?" "Yep," Charles replied, pouring himself a glass of iced tea. "Sometimes when people leave you behind, you find better company." The room went quiet. David shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. The next Saturday, Charles joined Hank's group. There were about a dozen of them, men and women in their 60s, and even 80s. Some hiked with trekking poles. Others painted landscapes. A few played acoustic guitars by the river. Laughter was everywhere. Weeks turned into months, and Charles became one of the group's most active members. He led short hikes, shared stories from his postal service days, and even learned to grill fish over an open fire. His energy returned, and with it, his sense of purpose. One sunny weekend, Charles invited David and his family to join him. They hesitated at first, picturing a slow-paced gathering, but when they arrived, they were stunned. Charles was standing on a rock in the river, casting a fishing line like a pro, while a group of hikers cheered him on. That night, as the fire crackled, David pulled his father aside. Dad, I was wrong. I thought I was protecting you. I didn't realize you're still living? Charles smiled. Yeah, I am. And I'll keep doing it as long as I can. From that day on, they never left Charles behind again. But even if they had, he knew now he'd never wait by the window for life to come to him. Because the day they drove off without him, he decided to start driving toward the life he wanted.